There's a story here that deals with crime and deportation. Cambodian refugee who came to U.S. as 1 year old is deported after no pardon from California Governor Newsom. I've seen a few videos of people, especially from Cambodia, who've been deported, who lived here most of their lives, and turned to crime, and they usually give the excuse, well, it's tough growing up in the Bay Area, you got no choice, but to commit crime. And what's funny is that they came here at very young ages, so that means if you come here really young, that means, your language is really English. You're not going to know anything about the Khmer language. So your language is English. So the first thing you do is you become a United States citizen. Because you went to school here, you educated here. So you should be able to pass the citizenship test without a problem. But some of these people never think of that. So let's see. A 48-year-old reformed inmate who served 25 years in prison was deported by the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to Cambodia on Tuesday. Phoeun You, a former child refugee from Cambodia, was sent back to a country he is barely familiar with after failing to get a pardon from California Governor Gavin Newsom. Such a pardon would have allowed him to stay in the U.S., where his family has stayed for decades since fleeing the Khmer Rouge when he was a 1-year-old child. You know what? Let me just stop here. Newsom more than likely would like to run for president one day. Can you imagine him pardoning somebody who was in prison for murder? Already they tried to recall him, right, not that long ago in a special election. That failed. So the last thing he wants is to pardon somebody who committed like murder, and you running for to be president, and they're gonna throw that in your face. So that's one good reason why he wouldn't do it. Having faced discrimination as a child, You joined a gang when he was 13 for protection while living in Long Beach. At age 20, he shot and killed a 17-year-old while retaliating against a gang attack on a young member of his family. He was convicted of first-degree murder by a jury trial and sentenced to 35 years to life. After decades of serving his sentence, You said he had changed and was ready to be with his family and give back to the community. While in prison, You became a founding member of the Restorative Justice Program, Restoring Our Original True Souls, served as a counselor with Bay Area women against rape, and mentored other detained refugees from Asia. He shouldn't be deported because he had already served his time, and being deported is basically another life sentence, said community advocate Somdang Danny Tongsi. During my time at San Quentin, he actually mentored me a lot, and he was one of my facilitators in the trauma therapy class, which helped me explore my trauma, and because of that, I was able to heal from that. You was deemed safe for early release by the San Quentin Prison Parole Board and pardoned in January. However, he was handed over to ICE agents upon his release. See that? He came here at the age of 1. At the age of 1! So that means, when he speaks English, he's not going to sound like anybody from Cambodia. He's going to sound like an American. and yet they have that in the system. For months, the Asian Prisoner Support Committee and other advocates have been urging Newsom to grant Yu a pardon and stop his deportation. Yu's eldest brother, James Phoeun You, lamented how Newsom chose not to intervene on Yu's behalf. Yeah, like I said, Newsom wants to run for president, and the Republicans are going to use that against him. He isn't listening to our community outcry. He was quoted as saying, "Our family would like to thank all of the friends that came out to support him and fight for Phoeun to stay. Advancing Justice Asian Law Caucus immigrant rights lawyer Su Yang Lee, who represents Yu, said Phoeun should be home with his family, not deported to a country he escaped as a child." In response, Newsom's office said in a statement, "Information regarding pardon application is confidential, and we are not able to discuss individual cases. The governor regards clemency as an important part of the criminal justice system, and all applications receive a thorough and careful review." Yu's supporters are still hopeful that Newsom could eventually pardon him, which would allow him to return to the U.S. and be with his family. "I am still right here with you," Yu said upon his arrival in Cambodia. "It's not over until it's over, and we are going to keep going." Well, let me just say this. Cambodia, I've been there once. I spent a few days in Cambodia, and going into Cambodia, the bus I was on, I mean, the crazy things I saw in Cambodia. We in the bus, and yet like vehicle passing, like a car passing, for example, right? Passing another car, they were like head on, very, very risky, driving toward the bus, and like within a split few seconds, that's when they pulled over. And the bus was doing the same thing too that I was on. The bus was passing other vehicles and driving straight toward the other vehicle in the wrong lane. And at one time, the driver in the car was forced over to the shoulder so the bus I was on can pass. And then as we go a little farther in, before we reach Phnom Penh, there was a motorcycle accident. Guy laid out on the road. I hadn't even seen that, like in Vietnam. I was in Vietnam, I didn't see anything like that. Motorcycle down, guy in the ground. It's a very strange country. And the politics, you see the same, the prime minister, the same party. You see everywhere you drive, you see on the highway, vote for this, vote for this. But just one party. So you have to ask yourself, if it's just one party, then why even waste your time putting up posters? It's like, okay, you're going to win the election anyway, so why, I think his name is Han Sing, the name of the prime minister over there. And it's a very corrupt system. Also, another thing about Cambodia, if you have enough money, and I've seen this is true, if you have enough money, you can pay, so you don't need to have license plates on your vehicles. So, and I even took a picture of it too, of one, whereby you can drive your car or SUV or what have you without any license plate. See? So, technically, you could commit a robbery. You know, you can be the getaway car. You can hold up a store. You could jump into a red, I don't know, sedan or something like that, and there are no license plates. So I mean, really now, you know, who would do something like that? Even in the United States here, United States vehicles, they have license plates. You know, the postal truck doesn't have, but they have a number on each postal truck. There's a number, so you can identify which postal truck. You know, in case there's an incident or something. There are lots of stuff about Cambodia, and when you go into the market, of course, you're going to see things that you never seen before. When I was there, I ate some insects. You know. The crispy insects. I bought at a market when I was on my way to Phnom Penh. So, this guy going by there, he be in a totally different world, and I'm just throwing that out there, you know. So, if somebody knows that they immigrated here to the United States, you go to school here. You speak English well, you know, you're growing up in California from the age of 1. Of course, English is going to be your first language. You're going to be speaking well. All this excuse about, you know, gangs and this and you have to protect yourself, come on. You know, there are other ways. You don't have to do that. And you get involved in a gang and you kill somebody and they want him to get a pardon, you know. I mean, there's certain kinds of crimes that people do get a pardon for. That Governor Newsom did pardon some people, you know. Like maybe theft. You steal something, you steal some money, or whatever, you know. But you take somebody's life who was 17 years old at the time. That person never had the chance to grow up, never had the time to have a family. That's wrong, you know. So if you're gonna commit crimes, you have to make sure that you become a citizen, and then you're not gonna get deported. You know, if you go out and kill somebody, you serve your time just like any other U.S. citizen who goes to prison and comes out of prison. That's the way it works.